Hello and welcome back. I am going to be talking over a digital time-lapse of an illustration that I did for my boyfriend. It's of his character in Final Fantasy XIV Online, which is an MMO. He plays a Highlander warrior, and if some of you play Final Fantasy XIV, you might recognise the armour that he's in this. I also play Final Fantasy, so if you'd be interested in seeing me draw my character or one of my alts, let me know. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the process of this today, but then also I want to discuss a little bit about utilising what you have available to you as an artist and also in terms of content creation. To start with, you might notice something a little bit odd about the time-lapse you're watching. I use the program Clip Studio Paint for my digital drawing and painting, and Clip Studio has a feature where it will record a time-lapse of what you're drawing, and then at any point when you finish, halfway through, you can export the time-lapse at whatever length you want, so 15 second, 30 second, very common for social media platforms, or you can have the full-length time-lapse. What you're watching right now is the full-length time-lapse of this drawing, and it's a very useful feature for me. Other programs also have a feature like this. Procreate is a common one that a lot of people use, and the feature is very useful for me because I cannot currently record my screen. You'll find a lot of different artists use the Procreate time-lapses, Clip Studio time-lapses in order to show their digital processes, but you'll also see, especially on YouTube, I've noticed more than other social media platforms, people recording their screen while they're painting or drawing. And it's not something I can currently do with the tech that I have available to me right now. My computer is not powerful enough to run everything it needs to run and also screen record at the same time. I've tried multiple different kinds of software for screen recording and all of them have the same result, and my computer nearly dies a minute in. So it's just realistically not something that I can do right now, which isn't a problem because there's ways around it like this. I can do the time-lapse that exports from Clip Studio, and then I can also create videos of my process and me actually painting or drawing by recording with a camera my hand actually moving. And that's just what is available to me right now. And that's something that I want to touch on a little bit, is that if you feel drawn to share what you do, what you create, or you want to create content and you have a desire to do it, utilize whatever you have available to you. Don't feel like you can't do it just because you don't have the best computer out there right now and the best drawing tablet or the best camera. You can use what you have to do the things that you want to do, and then you can work on adding to those things over time. Over time, I might get a better computer or better computer parts, or I might not. I might decide that what I'm currently doing works for me. So what you're seeing on screen right now, behind the time lapse, is a screenshot of my Clip Studio setup after I finished painting. So I closed the tab I was working on, and it's just a blank Clip Studio setup. But in the bottom left hand corner, you can see the different colours, my colour history for the piece that you're watching. So you can see all of the different skin tones that I was using, and then also the tones for the armour, and then some of the purples that I use for my thumbnails, for my YouTube thumbnails. It's not a perfect way around it, but that's kind of my point. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to explore and try out different methods of showing my time lapses in different forms of content. So rather than having a blank background behind it with just a pastel color or something, or having an illustration that bands either side or above and below in order for it to fit a screen, which can work and I have done before, I wanted to try something new and essentially kind of fake having the screen recording feel for a little bit of visual interest, but again, you can tell by just watching for a few seconds that it's not a screen recording. Even with the digital process itself, I was experimenting with how I wanted to render the skin. So you'll have seen earlier I was trying out a few different things before I settled on one idea. And the idea was layering multiple layers of tone in and focusing more on using shape design in order to render the skin, almost like I was layering traditionally with watercolor. And I actually really liked the process and the result. It required quite a lot of layers because I prefer working in multiple layers in case I want to go back and change anything. So every single layer on the skin is a separate layer in the file. So I had quite a lot of layers by the end of it, but my computer at least managed to handle that. I had more layers on the skin itself and the hair because I wanted that to have the most visual interest, and then kept it to mainly one extra tone on all of the armor pieces. So this is the finished result, and I'm excited to try it with more portraits in the future. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!